Hi, I'm Dimari.
And I'm Brandon. Before the show begins, please subscribe, like, comment, and share with a friend.
This allows us to increase our visibility on the platforms where you listen and watch so we can continue to bring you quality content each week. Help us grow, and we can grow together by enlightening minds one question at a time.
Are you a small business owner, young professional, or pre-retiree looking to grow and protect your assets but don't know where to start? With all the noise about stocks, bonds, cryptos, it can be hard to know what steps to take. Let Black Swan Financial Group help you so you can focus on doing what you're good at. Black Swan Financial Group is a telefinancial planning firm operating in select states nationwide. They're here to help you protect, create, and grow your assets. Visit blackswanfinancialgroup.com today to get your free consultation. Hey everybody, Brandon and Dimari from Side by Side here. Just want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors, Ease Web Development.
Ease Web Development specializes in building high conversion websites and marketing campaigns that take your business to the next level. They're the easy decision when it comes to marketing.
So check them out now at www.easewebdev.com. That's ease, WEBDEV.com. Now back to the show. All right, welcome back to the Side by Side podcast with your host, Brandon.
And I'm Dimari.
Where we engage in meaningful conversations in hopes to create unity and diversity by enlightening and inspiring minds one question at a time. We do that by bringing on normally two strangers each week to show we have a lot more in common than meets the eye. But today we have a brave Brandee Glass with us who is going to do our first one-on-one with Side by Side. So we're really excited about this. Brandee, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. How are y'all tonight?
Very good.
About to get better.
Yes.
Okay.
I really like this vest.
Hey,
it's
man.
A really good color.
So we should tell the guests, we did not plan this.
Mm-hmm.
I put on a puffer vest, and then Dimari walks through the front door. He's got a puffer vest. He's like, puffer vest.
Yeah.
And I just put this connection together, red and green for the holiday season.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Ho, ho.
Riding with my twin and him, and we all look good.
Totally unplanned.
Totally
You
unplanned.
guys are
But you had
soulmates.
he had that fire green shirt on last time, bro. The greens are really doing. I'm kind of jealous because come on, look at that up against my skin complexion, brother.
Yeah.
You
It's
might
good.
swap.
Good on you.
It's good. It's good.
We could
Swap a little swap.
it up. Yeah.
Maybe. So as always, we're gonna kick it off with a little this or that.
Yes,
So
sir.
you just tell us
Okay.
which one. Very
Sure.
simple stuff. Nothing too crazy.
Here we go.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
Beach vacation or city
Beach.
vacation?
I don't even care what the other option is. Couldn't care
She's
less
all
if
over
I tried.
And my personal favorite, Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Yes. We need to go back through all the episodes we've done this so far and tally the percentage of Batman.
I can do
I
that.
feel like we got a high percentage Batman out here.
I would guess
It's our
it's like
try.
85%.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
We've had some Supermans though, right? Well, we haven't asked everyone that question.
We had
right?
one
have
or
we?
two Superman so far. I think everybody's been Batman.
Good. Try it. So
What do you
go ahead,
mean
Rizzo.
good? We already
Because it's
argued
our
about
tribe.
Hey.
We want to know our tribe. So Rizzo, tell me yours though. Cat or dog?
Come on. Dog.
Meow.
All day.
Oh, okay. Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
Blonde or brunette?
Mm.
Mm.
I would say normally brunette.
Okay. Beach vacation or city vacation?
City.
City. Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Yeah, always. Love it. This is good stuff, guys.
I
What
love
about
it.
Dog, Adidas, blonde, city vacation, and of
Yeah.
course, Batman. Yeah.
You guys don't look as good at the beach as I do. That might be part of the problem.
I look great at the beach, by the way, but probably not as good as you. This is true. Not going to argue that. I think we would look great together at the beach, but here's the deal. We're going to have to leave that beach and go into the city and do local stuff. I can't just stay at this beach all of the days.
No, there's got to be
That's where
dancing
dudes
and
have the
eating.
advantage. The dudes do
Why
have
do
the
dudes have
advantage
the advantage?
when you go from the beach to the city in the same, hangout session, because our clothes we just throw a shirt on or an overshirt or something, and the shorts are already working for us. But for the ladies, they got to have a bag with the throw over and an extra thing. So it is a little more difficult for the ladies. I gotta say. So
yeah.
Sure, it is. I don't think it's that hard to throw a cover up on.
Well, I'm making
I don't know.
it way too complicated.
Again, I feel like you guys make things way more complicated than they need to be. Or perhaps gentlemen are just a little bit more lazy by nature than women. I don't know.
Or perhaps you're just more pragmatic and easy, to get along with. Could be. Could be. I mean, or again, I could just be looking into it too much and you could be obnoxious. No one knows.
My thing with the Batman Superman is I like people's psychology on answering this question. So, Brandee, why do you choose Batman over Superman?
Oh, this is intriguing because I actually have a really great rundown for this. Because most of my life, 90-something% of my life, the answer's always been Batman. But as of late, I've been leaning more towards Superman. And I'll tell you why. Batman, yes, I relate to the fact that Batman is just a regular, degular, schmegular human who has a bunch of money and a bunch of resources to run around beating up vigilantes being a vigilante all over the city of Gotham. But there's just, ever since Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, there's been something about it that bothers me, that he's beating down these escaped Gotham Asylum people who really are just off their meds. And I feel like if they had access to good medication and maybe a little therapy, because the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, was doing all right. He wasn't doing great, guys, but he definitely wasn't just running around causing fucking chaos till they defunded his healthcare program. Whereas
this is a statement on society here. I like it.
He already represents life. But Superman could scorch the entire earth with his eyeballs if he wanted to. And yet he's constantly running around trying to save us. And he falls hopelessly in love with Lois Lane, and that's fucking adorable. Whereas Bruce has no emotions whatsoever for anyone. So I've been Batman my whole life because I was I feel like I could be Batman. But if my parents, one of my parents is already dead, but if the other one dies, I don't get $1 billion. So I'm not going to build up some Playboy lifestyle. But so it's just as unrealistic as being an alien. And the fact that the alien is constantly choosing to save humanity, when Bruce really isn't doing much to save humanity, he's just beating up bad guys. So I'm 50-50 on this. I've shifted as I've grown to be a little bit more mature to where I'm rooting for Superman in a way that I never was before. Also because Henry Cavill's fine as fuck. Let's not leave that part out. That might also have something to do with it.
I think the most convincing argument for the Superman choice, it comes from the movie Kill Bill Volume 2. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Of course.
But at the end, he's in the living room talking to Uma Thurman, and he's given a breakdown of all the superheroes and how Superman is different. The mythology is he's an alien trying to fit in with the humans, whereas he is who he is. He is the alien. He is a superhero trying to fit in as a human, whereas most of the comic mythology or most comic books is the opposite. It's they're either human or they're sort of like a superhero, but they're generally blending in with the crowd and then becoming the superhero. But for him, it's the opposite. I think that's the most convincing argument, but it's the only one for me.
But see, Batman is not a superhero.
Right.
That's the thing. All of the other people have some sort of power.
True.
This dude is literally I'm jaded. I'm rich. They killed my parents. I'm beating the shit out of people tonight.
Yep. And he's industrious. Site. He's industrious with his tools.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Well,
he
tool
gets
belly's
shit
all
done.
the accessories. That was also
he's
a
the
big part
superhero
for
for the everyday working man.
He is a superhero for the everyday working man.
He's a superhero for the girl that likes her accessories too. That's where he also gets the leg up. Like Superman's powers are all from all of his alien abilities. Nah, man. Like I want the belts. I want the sunglasses.
I don't think you can call yourself a superhero unless you accessorize. You know what I mean?
That's true. Because otherwise, I mean, he was getting his ass beat out there. He had to go and like learn how to fight and still trains and works out every day. He had to get like better armor because dogs were biting him. People were shooting at him. He's getting stabbed and he still has to go. And then they're like sending a signal in the sky. And he's like, damn, I just got my ass beat by 20 guys last night. I got to go back out there again. This dude is... He's different.
I have a lot of love for Batman, and I respect that.
I do. Yeah, I really do.
All right, so we want to do our word association with you, which is like a rapid fire thing. So I'm going to say a word, and then you're just going to say the first thought that comes to mind. Cool?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, I'm going to switch these up actually on the fly because this was for something else. So, all right, first one, Santa Claus.
I can't think of anything because you called him Santa Claus instead of Santa Claus. So Santa Claus made me think Shantytown, and now I don't know what's happening.
Okay. Reindeer.
Snowflake.
Psychedelic mushrooms.
Amazon.
Whoa, okay.
That was weird. Okay.
Astral projection.
Fourth dimension.
And last one.
Use that one. Use it.
USA.
Home sweet home.
Wow.
So I was trying on the fly do the psychedelic Santa Claus thing because you know the whole story behind that, right? Like the story of like Santa Claus. Well, so like there's an idea of
Santa Claus or Santa Claus?
Santa Claus. No, Santa Claus. You know, like so reindeer love I think it's the Amanita muscaria mushroom that grows. It's like the one in like Super Mario, the red,
the big red cap. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So they eat those in like where they're from in Norway, that like Scandinavia, where reindeer come from. Caribou. I think their caribou is the species, and there's like if you ingest stuff and like that psychedelic and then pee, they will like run you over to get your pee. It's like this weird thing where they're like, they love this like psychedelic stuff. And so the whole idea of the flying reindeer comes from, they would eat they like eat the mushrooms and then they're like basically superpowers. And Santa Claus is like that. The elves and the Santa Claus is all that psychedelic, like archetypal stuff that's going on. So that's kind of like, that's one of the like mythos of Santa Claus. The other one obviously is the consumerism one, but
right.
You know,
Macy's, Dillard's, the whole 9 yards, Saturnalia. That's funny. So all I'm thinking now is like the fact that you're like, if you do psychedelic mushrooms in the snow and then pee, then reindeer. And I'm just like, there's just so many situations in life that I will never experience because I can't pee outside standing up. Like I'm just spared all of these because I would be terrified if I had my junk out and I was urinating and all of a sudden I'm being charged by a caribou. So like, I'm just glad that that's not something I actually have to worry about.
Fears right now.
Really? Being attacked by a reindeer or being
attacked by anything like that?
No, it's not.
What you're thinking out is everybody. It's going through everyone's head.
Hey.
If you're out in the forest, you're in the woods or something, and you take one,
it's scary,
and that wind hits that tree, you're like, yo, what? Hold on, bro, not my piece.
It's hard to cut off midstream. It's not you know, but
I'd pee in my pants if I had to get out of there.
Yeah, just get out, go.
But now you're releasing all these pheromones for the predator to track you and chase you.
I mean, you're making it worse, Brandee.
Yeah. Talking about, we think about things too
Maybe
much.
you guys should stop pissing outside and use a restroom like a civilized being.
Are you jealous?
So
is that jealousy?
I'm so fucking jealous. You know, because it's on a golf course and I gotta hold it until I can find a club or a rush. Like, yeah, man, it's very frustrating that I can't just find some bushes. And
it is. I've seen videos though. I saw a video of a lady like just straight up like standing and was like able to move her urethra, I guess. I don't know.
That's skills.
So you practice
We're
makes
just
perfect.
gonna put that into the carbon footprints of the social media. I was watching a video of a lady did it. She did it good. Bailed her urethra out.
Has to be true.
I'm
on
not
the
questioning it.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
They
I
make
don't
a
know,
product for those of us that are more outdoorsy. It's called a shiwi, and you put it over your clam and you go for it, and it points it outwards so you can aim.
Wow,
I'd never heard of that.
I never.
That's
heard of
amazing.
It's called a
you're probably not in
shiwi.
the market for one, right?
You're definitely not. Not even a little
That's
bit.
pretty cool.
It is pretty good. Like, yeah, is that patent still pending, or is that like?
Can we get in on that?
Can we get in on this?
Do
women know about the shiwi? I feel like because of you, like we're about to popularize the shiwi.
Hey.
Hashtag shiwi, like shiwi, send me my P-checks. Like I'm here for it. I've never used one though, but
really?
Look, I'll make a TikTok about it if they sponsor me. Like I am definitely for sale.
We have to use it you have to use it to see if it's actually good. So I'm looking it up right now, people. It's a funnel.
Please.
It's a glorified funnel.
Basically.
Not expensive.
Silicone, it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, they got it's so many of them out there.
Nice.
But, so yeah, China's already over it, so we're not gonna make
make any money.
Sorry about that.
But we got
anyone
Brandee
wants to
Glass
send me
here.
one, I want a pink one.
A pink one? Pink shiwi? And that's your wish list?
First.
Yeah, pink did pop up first. Actually, no,
lime
green. And
lime green. Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want a lime green shiwi?
Yeah. Yeah, me. I want one. Actually, the pink is cheaper. So this is good. This is good. You might be getting a shiwi for Christmas, Brandee. So
golf just got way better.
Yeah, you got to pack it in your bag. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So we got Brandee here today. Brandee, if you can just tell us a little bit about your upbringing, you know, where you grew up, what your family was like, single parent, two parents, what was that like, whatever, siblings, all the way up through, you know, high school, college, if you did that, all the way up to your professional career and what you do today. We got time.
Just looked at my wrist. I got time today. Fuck it. We crossing the line today. All right. So the whole rundown. Well, Brandee Janine Glass was born on September 18th, 1984 at Wilford Hall Medical Center here on Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, to both of her parents who were married at the time. My dad was former military and an original Black Panther, born and raised in Kentucky. And he has lots of incredible stories about Muhammad Ali jogging next to the school bus while he went to school and stealing books from the other side of the tracks to bring to the poor schools so that the kids younger than them had resources. My mom was kind of the opposite. She grew up middle class, upper middle class in San Antonio. Her dad worked for the post office. Her mom ran a home health nursing care business. Always lived in like the nicer neighborhoods. Her and her brothers were the first Black kids at their school when they integrated in the like 50s and 60s. So, or 60s and 70s, because Roosevelt, I don't think integrated until a little bit later. Anywho, that's the parentals. I'm the oldest of three. I was a very boisterous child, very loud, lots of opinions. Grew up with, like I said, a former Black Panther for a father and a very spoiled Whitley Gilbert, Hillary Banks for a mom. So I'm a very fun in the middle between a militant Black Panther and Whitley Gilbert, Hillary Banks. Whatever the middle of that is, that's how you get here. Straight A student, played a bunch of sports, had a lot of friends from all walks of life because I ended up my dad got a brain tumor when I was 10. And so we went from being upper middle class ourselves, living CPA and nurse lifestyle, to my mom being the only working one in the house and my dad going in and out of brain surgeries for the next decade. And
holy crap.
Yeah, it was rough. And then they had my little brother and my little sister. So I got to raise a set of kids while that was all going on. So I like to say I've been raising kids for almost 30 years now. So like my own kids don't even like, I'm unfazed. Like, why would I be exhausted? I've been taking care of other people's kids my whole life. And my mom would say that I didn't pay any bills, and I would give her that. So, graduated like second in my class. Damn you, Von Villarreal.
Wow.
What's her name?
His name is Von Villarreal. Yeah.
Oh,
He went on.
The valedictory.
Yeah, he worked way harder than I did. I'll give him that. He still does. Yeah. Like, he's like a fighter pilot or something. He's like a Top Gun type of a guy. Real hot. Like, did really well.
I didn't study, and I finished in the top 30. So, hey, work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I blame it on the undiagnosed at the time ADHD and neurodivergence, like in general, because I'm just one of those people. If you say it or I read it, it's stuck in there and it's not going anywhere, whether I want it to or not. So that it was a cheat code. I really didn't work that hard, which proved to be true when I got to college and dropped out every single chance I got.
What? What do you mean dropped out every single chance you got? How many times do you have a chance to drop out?
So many times in my 20s. So I went to USC for my freshman year, University of Southern California.
University of spoiled children. University of snorting cocaine. University.
Fight on, fight on to victory. Fight on for you. That lasted a rocking semester before I got offered a record deal and dropped out like a bad habit and recorded my first album and was going to promote that so I could raise money for Clear Channel. And then a beautiful young lady out of Barbados named Rihanna came out with Pon de Replay and I got shelved. So then I went back to school for a while till that contract was, which you want to do a fun little tangent on how predatory and effed up the music industry is.
We got time.
We've done it before. We can certainly do it again.
Oh yeah. No, we'll bring it back. Just go through your story, but we're definitely going to get into some.
You're preaching to the choir here on predatory record industry.
Oh my god, I can twitch like. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's like trauma. But so waiting for that contract to end, I went back to school again. Ended up like doing some studio singing and stuff. So I'd drive from here to Austin. Dated an NBA player on and off for like 5 years. That was really good for my mental health and self-worth.
I can smell the sarcasm all the way over here.
It's not. If there are youths that listen to this and you're like, but mommy, I love him. Like, no, you don't love anything else but an NBA player. Please, like, save yourself the heartache.
Probably a smart life decision.
Unless you're trying to get a bag. But then if you're trying to get a bag, don't be like this idiot and keep taking your birth control. Pick a lane, hoes. Pick a lane. Either get the bag or keep it pushing because there's no good that will come from it. And even like it's, you could be a damn Kardashian and they still won't do you good. It ain't about you, it's about them. Anyways, that's what 20-something-year-old me needed to hear. She didn't. So instead, she kept chasing her dreams and moved to Nashville for a while, recorded a pop country album, thinking it would be easier to break into the industry that way. Filmed a reality show with that band, actually. We did really well. We toured for a while.
What was the name of your act?
It was called Coyote. So it was the bartenders from all the Coyote Ugly bars in the nation. We all auditioned to be in this girl group, and they selected 5 of us.
Oh, cool.
And so we ended up on CMT's season 3 of the Ultimate Coyote Ugly Search. And we toured. We opened for Big and Rich. We opened for Toby Keith. We performed at the Iowa Speedway. We did the 150th or 100th anniversary of Harley Davidson in Toronto. It was insane. That was like the wildest year and a half ever. We worked with Jeffrey Steele, who writes all of Rascal Flatts music. Rascal Flatts is basically a Jeffrey Steele cover band. He wrote some of our songs, and it was really fun and really incredible. And then Liliana Lovell, the owner of Coyote Ugly, got into a screaming match with one of our producers, and we got blacklisted, and just everything fell apart. We had just signed, by the way, to open for Carrie Underwood, and we'd just gotten a deal at Mattel for Barbies, and we were really fucking excited for that. And we tried to reform the group, but then we got hit with really bad litigation because once again, the music industry is predatory and 20-something signed stupid contracts, chasing their dreams. So fast forward, we moved back to Texas for a hot minute. Date the NBA player again, like an idiot. Then moved back to LA. This time with no desire to go back to school. So in between all of that, I'd been to UTSA, SAC, and back to UTSA and dropped out. So went back to LA, started acting because I was still under that bad contract, so I couldn't sing for another couple of years. And booked a lot of work in pilots and then got knocked up with my kiddo the week after I got into Groundlings School of Comedy and decided to be a mom.
So hold on now. So this contract, what was it? Like what kind of contract was it? Like an
Which
album
one?
contract or?
Oh, so the one. Coyote record contract was that was Sony BMG. Okay. And that was a record deal. And that one, they shelved me. So I was under that contract. I couldn't produce anything, couldn't have any of my masters, couldn't have any of the songs that I wrote with them. Anything that was done in that studio, I could not have. And I was shelved and told that I could not sing. I had a non-compete that I signed at like 19, and that non-compete went until I was like 24. When I was 24, I sang with Coyote, signed another deal. Not as aggressive, but it was similar, like where a non-compete, and I couldn't sing anything solo for 4 years. So 28 was when I was finally allowed to sing again. I was in bad contracts for almost a decade.
Dang.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wish it was the. I wish we just didn't hear those stories more often.
They're so common, though. Thing. No. It happens all the time. A lot of times. So, okay, I cannot remember the statistic, but I feel like I can Google it pretty quickly. Like, labels will sign like 10,000 acts a year and just shelve 90% of them. You know, you're not seeing, or they'll shelve, maybe it's like 1,000. It's like each label will sign roughly 1,000 artists a year, and they're putting them under developmental deals, or they'll put them under full-blown studio deals. And they sign, but they're just signing them so that they don't compete with the artists that they're already promoting. Yeah. So this is like, I think a great example of this is like the 2000s epidemic of like blonde pop stars. Like Britney Spears blew up. So then you had to have a Christina Aguilera, which begat a Mandy Moore, which begat a Jessica Simpson, which begat a Pink, which begat, like, it just kept going and going and going. And you kept getting these more and more watered down versions of the same thing. But behind each one of those blonde singers was another 150 blonde singers that got signed and no one ever had any intent to do anything with.
I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like what happens in the tech industry now. You have all these startups that create an app or create an idea, and then a bigger company, one of the big fives or whatever, Apple, Facebook, all those, they come in and they just buy the company and they snatch them up, and then you either never hear of the product again or they make it theirs. It's kind of like the same thing.
Or even if they don't even buy
it,
they like give them an opportunity there. And then they're like, but if you don't buy it, we'll just make our own version of it.
Right.
So just
strong arm them out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They'll take meetings with you. Like, I've actually sat in one of those. I have a cousin who was developing his own blockchain social media company, and they'll take meetings with you just to see how much information that they can get out of you and then steal it and not fund you. It's fun. Venture capitalism and the music industry are very similar.
Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah, across the board, showbiz. But so beyond that, so you had like you said 28, 29 or something. Now you're a mom.
Yeah.
So then what happens next? And then life just ended.
Yeah, I died. That version of me died. That version died. She died. She's gone. She's never to be seen again. So mom was born. Mom spent the next like 4 or 5 years in and out of school again. Never once committing to it. Never.
Wait, so you early on were repping USC, and I'm like, but you've been to UTSA twice, so why don't you rep UT? Go Horns, let's do it.
Well, no, but if I were going to, that's UTSA is Roadrunners.
Oh, that'd it's not the same school?
No, that's UT Austin, that's UT San Antonio.
Yeah, but I thought they were like,
no, very separate entities.
Different thing.
We finally got our own football team down here, boo. And they're just as good as the Longhorns, honestly.
I mean, but come on, bro. You very much rather rep, the Trojans, bro. But I'll rep the boys too, since I lived here now.
I traditionally grew up in the Midwest in Ohio, and so I always repped Ohio State or Notre Dame because my dad loved Notre Dame.
Okay.
And my buddies went to Ohio State, so pretty much root for those two. But now that I live here, and I went to my first UT game last month, and it was an experience. I had a blast. So
UT
did my
games
wife.
Are elite. Yeah, we used to
and
go
I'm
to
like,
the
dude,
relays.
I'm gonna rep UT now.
Yeah, you were coming at me a little bit because I popped up and you like, oh, you got the, and I'm like,
bro,
yeah, bro,
I
saw you bought it, but I bought a hat like immediately because I went to a game last year and I was like, bro, it's electric in there,
dude. It's like
and
NFL.
the people are hot,
games,
bro. Everybody's good looking. Like you can't get accepted. Like USC, obviously hot girls. Like I don't know if you like, bro. It's stupid, but
it is
like
very stupid.
it just makes no sense, bro. Like it's just idiotic. But
why did nobody tap us on the shoulder when we were in downtown Chicago and say, "Hey, you should transfer to UT"?
I couldn't afford USC.
No one can.
No one can. You know what? The reason why I got hooked in with USC is because my big brother, he got his MBA there. And so he actually got it free because his company paid for it. So apparently you can get a free USC degree. They were like, basically like whatever school you get accepted into, like we'll pay for it. So he's like, I'm about to like apply for the top most expensive one I can, as long as it's in the state of California. So he got in and boom. Yo, it's a walking TikTok. Like, so I definitely spent, that's like where I spent most of the college games I've ever gone to. I think were all USC. And then I went to a couple Purdue games because he went there like undergrad, but it just wasn't as exciting. It was cold. Yeah, Boilermaker.
I've been doing a game. That was pretty cool because it's such a historic,
that's elite.
I mean,
I know that culture has got to be. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
but as a USC, you can't.
Yeah, it was a cold. I went in like I think it was a November game, and I was a freshman in college, and one of the guys I was friends with freshman year of college, he had best friend who was going to Notre Dame, and what's weird about Notre Dame, the like drinking culture and like the like just the college life. So they have this weird rule where it's like all male or all female dorms, right? Because it's a Catholic school. It's like old school Catholic, right? And if you have a girl over past midnight, you'll get in trouble. But you can have a blowout party in your room as long as you only drink beer and don't have hard liquor. And like the RAs will join in with you. I was like, this makes no sense. Because at our school, like you just get like in trouble. And it was like you could just have like a big rager in your room with beer and kegs, but you couldn't have a girl over. It made no sense.
I mean, I guess
college.
They're pro-life.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess because of the Catholic thing, yeah.
Yeah, let's just procreate in here, guys. Have an orgy.
Ew. I mean, not like college students need any help with that.
This is very true. Exactly. Yeah. They're going to do what they're going to do.
They're gonna do
That's why you kept going back, and you're like, I don't want this to end. Actually, I'm going to keep going back and never finish.
No, I kept going back because other people kept telling me that I needed to. And then I kept getting to the point where I'd be like, all right, the free funding ran out and y'all want me to now go into debt for this, for a piece of paper to say I'm smart? Come the fuck on now. And so I'd drop out at that point. Every time the funding ran out, I'd be like, all right, deuces. I might come back.
But then you tried it again, you tried it again after becoming a mom. So where'd you go? Like UTSC or was that SA or SAC?
I went to TCC. I was in DFW at the time. So Tarrant County College, I was going back to be a nurse. And then after acing my NCLEX, I went, I don't want to touch people. I don't like people that much. Like if they're sick or they're hurting, can you not?
It's like, definitely don't. Yeah, it's like, what's your dog's name?
Be held. She wants,
Tyrion.
Is it he or she?
He.
What's his name?
To be held.
Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion Buotes of House Django is his full name.
That's different.
That's a throwback to Game of Thrones there, huh?
Correct. Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
I also used to have a cat named Khaleesi. Okay. I used to have a cat named Khaleesi. And
you watch House of Dragons?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, it's good.
I want like the way that I ran through Game of Thrones, I want as much of it finished before I start it so that I can have a binge session.
I did that with the season. Like I waited till the season was over and then just watched the whole season because I knew I'd want to watch the whole thing.
We're getting there. I want it cozy. I want it cold outside. I want to be in like footy jammies. And then I'm going to sit down and do it. Like footy. Like with the feet.
Oh, okay. Footy. Gotcha.
Like a toddler.
Wait, so you didn't like what you were doing. What is this? The third time now?
I feel like
Who knows?
she's treating this conversation like college itself. She's just like, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. So no, we really want to know like what do you even do now? Right. So like, okay, you had a kid, you ended the dream journey. It's been a journey. Here. Clearly you're talented because people are signing you.
There was no prep here. Hey. You sent no sides whatsoever.
No. And look, that's why we wanted that.
And you're like, now tell me your entire life story.
Exactly.
Mind you, people, the reason that he has me on here and the reason that he knows who I am is through Hinge. We have not even been on a date yet. This is a very elaborate screening process.
Why are you telling people my personal business? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I asked you before. So are we going to cover it or not? You were like, whatever comes up, we're just going to talk. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. You were telling these people? Hey, okay. So now.
Let's check the timestamp. It was at 33 minutes and about 45 seconds. You can go in and edit this out later. It's no big deal. Make a note.
Duly
Who's
noted.
your producer?
Duly noted. Yeah. Like, what? Why would you tell these people that?
Because I have no fears.
No, I don't have any fear. What is there to fear? I'm just a personal, private person about these matters. That is all.
Okay,
but
snail.
Yes, very much a snail.
Uh-huh.
Beyond that, though, so now you have a kid.
Uh-huh.
Showbiz person dies. That version of Brandee, rigor mortis.
So bad.
Now. What's that like transitioning into mommy mode, giving up on dreams to be mommy?
Well, it was not great. It basically felt like my soul died. And there was no amount of being the best mom that I could be or the best wife or the best anything that was going to make the real version of me actually stay dead. So spent some years doing that. And then over time, realized that I was being forced into a box that didn't fit who I was, and that living to please other people or to make other people happy was going to just continue to kill my soul, and that I couldn't live like that anymore. So I got out of a very draining marriage, which, oh my God, people don't get married prior to the age of like 27, 28. Big facts.
Too late.
Don't do that.
Too late.
Okay, well, maybe you did good.
When you got married? How old were you?
Oh, well, we got married when I was, 29.
Okay, so
you're fine.
You did it.
You did it.
You're fine.
You're fine. Your frontal cortex isn't finished developing until around 26, 27.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Nah, 26, 27. They said 25 was the first numbers. 26, 27. And I say that maybe like wait a little bit longer too, just because you need to know real people. I'm only a couple
of years old then at this point.
Right, basically.
When I got married. So.
You're a baby.
You're baby adults at that point. Yeah. You're like a brand new baby adult. Prior to that, you were just a geriatric child. That's how that should be viewed. But so yeah, I regained my independence and decided that I couldn't go back to working for anyone else because I'd been working for myself the last few years of the marriage. We ran a multi-million-dollar business together. And I say together, he worked in the field. I ran the office. So I ran the multi-million-dollar business. And I went, you know what? I've always felt this way and I don't care anymore about what other people think. I'd rather work for myself and make $45K a year than go work for somebody else and make $750,000, $1 million a year. So I started a business called Spiritual Bimbos, and I am now a tarot reader, astrologer, and spiritual mentor for other women who are coming back from something called narcissistic abuse disorder, or people that struggle with narcissism in their lives, like from either a parent, or both parents in some scenarios. And I give them the tools and the tricks that I used to pull myself back into being my highest self, pull myself back out of the brinks of having no self-worth and no drive or joy in life. Like it was the dynamic of being with a narcissist when you're an empath is that they will drain you for energy. So you become their source. And their supply is actually the buzzword that the therapist will use. And they will suck you dry till you're a shell of yourself. So when you leave...
So is that just like a natural phenomenon where narcissists are magnetized to empaths, like
Correct.
peanut butter and jelly. So you kind of liked it. So you must have liked being a source for someone.
No.
So isn't that like a
What
level of
happens
narcissism
is,
or ego?
No. So there's so much manipulation that goes on in these scenarios that you end up in something called a trauma bond. And psychologically, you keep hoping that the person that you met in the beginning is going to come back to you. And they will give you bits and pieces. It's almost Pavlovian. So in the beginning, they're wonderful, you're in love, you're happy. And then they start to walk that back. And before you know it, you're wrapped up in this thing that you can't quite explain. It honestly took me like therapy and like 4 years to figure out how it all worked. And my therapist still had to break it to me very slowly. Like, hi, you've been very heavily manipulated for years. Let's walk this back and get you back into reality.
I have to jump in here because when often when people have these conversations, it's always like the other person was the perpetrator, right? And you're just
Correct.
the victim, right? So what accountability can you have? Because if that person started off awesome, then I'm assuming you started off awesome, right? And then they walked it back, you walked it back. Not saying you did it first or he or she did it first, whatever. Just saying that it just happened, right? So,
oh no, there was a fear of surviving on my own. There was a fear of surviving on my own. So there was a certain amount of stability and
financial stability you're referring
to.
Okay.
Correct. Because I had now built a multi-million-dollar business with this person. So I didn't want to go back.
Were you an owner?
No, he never put me on the paperwork.
So was that company in existence when you met him, or
no? We started it together.
Okay. What industry?
It was pest control.
Okay. And I don't get it. I don't know. I just hear people throw words like he was manipulative and
here's the thing,
narcissistic. I hear it all the time when I have these conversations.
You must be a narcissist, then.
I don't know. You think I'm a narcissist?
Only a narcissist would want to defend narcissists.
That's just a general question. I don't know, bro. I just feel like I don't really even talk to people like that, honestly, just because I'm just really not interested in what they're saying.
Well, that's something that you wouldn't be able to relate to. But so for my demographic and for my clientele, there's a large subset of the population who's been through this type of dynamic. Yeah. And it's a very difficult thing to come back from. And a lot of people don't. So like Britney Spears, kind of what you see going on with her and her mental health right now, that's coming out of a narcissistic and empathic cycle. And she doesn't have a support system. Right? Well, correct. And so all narcissists and empaths are actually born and forged in the same fire. It's either a narcissistic or neglectful household when they're coming up in childhood. So the root trauma is the same. The people it splits on how they decide to respond. So one becomes hyper aware, hypersensitive, and a sponge for other people's emotions and constantly seeking to help, to serve, to try to help other people feel better, to be the light. And the other seeks to protect the part of them that was hurt at all costs and must control everything around them. And so
I definitely subscribe to this.
Well, I mean,
so
you don't
have
to.
No, just what you're breaking down, because I definitely have seen it in my own life. Yeah.
The statistics on psychology today, I want to say that it's like 60% of the population has had like intimate relationships of some sort, be it sibling and family or romantic, with a narcissist, and then needs like psychological help to deal with it afterwards. But only 6% of narcissists ever seek help because they can't even comprehend that there could be a problem with them. Like it's not even, and wasting your breath trying to tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist is just what I said, wasted breath. They will never take accountability. There will never be any self-awareness. So a lot of the women that go through this, and I find that it's very, very, very prevalent for women who have like the Elle Woods gene. Presenting somewhat.
What's that?
So the Elle Woods gene is anyone who's on the spectrum slightly, but was not diagnosed in childhood. Most women with ADHD or autism, especially if it's high functioning, according to the way that they scale it, most of us were overlooked in childhood and development. Like ADHD for boys was very easy to identify because they were hyperactive, right? They're running around and they're loud. Whereas for girls, it would actually present sometimes as being overwhelmed by racing thoughts, and like it would present as depression. I would like you to think of this, because I know for a fact this is what happened to me, and I've seen it happen to lots of other girls, is you go and they diagnose you with depression, and then they put you on depression meds and you don't get better. And finally, actually, by the grace of TikTok, and my psychiatrist even laughs at it. She's like, I've made so much money because of TikTok. Like, you guys are self-diagnosing like crazy out here. It's wonderful. Like, everybody's coming in finally and getting the help that they need. Now, you still have to go through the screening and the work with them, but a lot of those women got overlooked. And one of the things that you'll do to mask when you're ADHD or autistic to fit in is get into fashion and cheerleading or sororities. And so a lot of these women, and you become that Elle Woods kind of a character. Of course, you can make the grades if you apply yourself. Of course, you can fit into any certain group, because neurotypicals, when they meet a neurodivergent, typically will decide that they don't like them in the first 30 seconds. So neurodivergents become hyper aware of that in youth because they seek community and they seek friends. So the mask gets more and more elevated as they go through life so that they can have some sort of human connection. But they don't know why they have to do it, because so many people misdiagnose the females that are the feminine representing neurodivergence in our population. And it's crazy. Like, out of my however many followers, I would say 50% of them are women who are late diagnosed ADHD and neurodivergent, like, or autistic, and present the same way. Very pretty, very bubbly, very like easy to get along with, but it's because of all the trauma from being that way.
I have a question, since you're kind of like in this world and you kind of have a lot, obviously, experience with talking to these people and knowing these things. So do you think that this is a phenomenon of like more recent history of like modern times, or is this something that maybe has always been going on and we just never heard about it?
Oh no, this has always been going on. This has absolutely always been going on. This happens because of what happened before. So this is the first generation, like Gen Alpha, the little honey badger generation that we're raising right now. This is the first generation ever raised by a collective of parents who have done generational healing and done a lot of work to make sure that they don't repeat the sins of their own mothers and fathers. But prior to this, kids didn't really get a lot of like consideration. There was a lot of physical abuse. There was a lot of neglect. If you go back to like 70s and 80s, that's your latchkey kids. So those are a lot of neglect. While our generation wasn't necessarily beat as much as the generation prior, we were left free range. We were coming home from school with our own keys, turning on MTV, shoveling Pop-Tarts down our gullets, and getting by on our own without a lot of actual like interested and invested parenting. Generation prior to that, there was a lot of physical abuse. Generation prior to that, you're going into full on, like, kids were dying. Like, we're talking Great Depression and Dust Bowls. And prior to that, Victorian era, you've got plagues and
it was just hard to stay alive at that point, for most of
parents
for
back
most of
then,
history.
For most of history. And for most of history, parents didn't see their children as humans that deserved respect or love or kindness. They were just accessories to their own BS and people to clean their chimneys and tend to their farms. Like, they were
and
free labor.
After shifting from the agrarian way of life to where we are now. But
big facts, yes.
Big facts. So this is fascinating, by the way. But you said you help these people heal through astrology, tarot reading, and maybe spiritual healing. I'm not sure what the third one was exactly. But
I do Reiki,
just walk
and
us
chakra.
through, what is that? Oh, Reiki. Okay. What does that look like? How does that work exactly?
Okay. So I have a whole site that you can book through. But so what
Plug
I
that
did.
site. What's that site?
So if you go to @Spiritual Bimbo's podcast, or you can go to my TikTok @dvision1717. I have the link trees for those as well on there.
Okay.
And I just it depends on what the person needs. But I found out through my own healing journey how many other energies there are that we can't perceive with our five senses that are literally on deck, ready to help us at all times. If you've read The Alchemist, it says, like, if you're living your life in pursuit of your purpose, the entire universe conspires for your highest good. Well, we have spirit teams as well. Each one of us. So you have your own spirit team, and you have your own spirit team, and I have my own spirit team. And these are ancestors. Sometimes these are intergalactic entities. These are interdimensional entities. I was channeling for a girl the other day, and the goddess Athena came through, and that was bizarre because I'd never spoken to her before. But so through using the tarot, sometimes that helps me to clarify messages from other people's spirit teams through methods like on TikTok Live, where people will come in and they scroll and they stumble upon it, and I'll do a collective read. They'll hear something that resonates with them. They'll book a private reading. After we do a private reading, they may book, I might say, hey, like, you've got a root chakra blockage. It looks like it's generational trauma. We can go and we can do a Reiki healing session, and I will help them take whatever that. Sometimes it's a cord. Sometimes, and when I say a cord, I mean like literally an energetic cord. Think of, oh God, Harry Potter, Professor.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, when he would take the fur of the hair out of his beard to put it in the seeing thing. The literally.
I'm not familiar.
Okay. So the imagery of a well-lit string of lights, like little tiny fairy lights, sometimes that's all a cord is between us and another energy, or us and a trauma, or us and a blockage. And that cord needs to be cut, cauterized, removed, dislodged, whatever it is that's going on in their system. But trying to condense that into like less than like energy healing is a whole episode. So like I'm going to just leave it like at that, because it's a very difficult thing to pinpoint and target. But I use the other realms and the other dimensions, and I use the Most High Source, and I channel with them to assist people in finding and aligning with their highest selves, and then maintaining their alignment through life's daily struggles.
Wow. Speechless.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
It's great stuff. I love it. I'm really here for it. Were you going to say something?
That's because you want to use it for your own good.
Listen, of course. Why not? For everyone's good, not just mine. No, I mean, listen, I think that about, honestly, when I think about my closest relationships, there is a mutual benefit, you know, like I like to be productive more than anything. So like, you know, even this, my, you know, best friend, right? But it stems from us making music together, right? Like we just work together.
Music together?
Yeah, we'll play some stuff for you at the end.
Oh my God.
So we, we like worked at the Apple store together and just randomly met. Like you can go watch the first episode or something. I think we talk about it, but it was just like so random. And I meet a lot of people. But not many of them become like my, you know, a part of my inner circle is what
your
I call
soul family.
it. So
they're your soul tribe.
That's what I call it, my soul tribe. So, but actually I call my soul tribe somebody different. So this is like my inner circle though, for me, just my terminology. Right. And, in my inner circle, like people don't make it there because they're just not, they're just, here you go.
You're in the circle of trust. You're in the circle of trust. It's a safe space.
So they just don't, we're just not aligned because I'm not getting a benefit from it. And I feel like I may be giving more than I'm receiving, but in certain relationships like ours, it's just a powerful dynamic where I feed into it. Like, listen,
there's reciprocity.
I'm pouring into my cup and my cup is overflowing into his, and he's pouring into his own cup and it overflows into mine, and we get to drink from the well together. So if I don't get that,
beautiful metaphor there.
You like that? If I don't get that from people, and it's just like superficial. It's just like on a very like base level. Like I can be cool and have an acquaintance, but after a while, it just feels like it's sucking all of my energy because I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing.
Exactly.
Right? Like I could, like I don't want to be at a nightclub or something, but
so
I
that's
could
called
sit
being out of
here and
alignment.
chat with him, and right, exactly. And I acknowledge those things and I stay away from them. Yeah, because energy's huge.
Energy is the new currency.
Energy's been the currency. People are just now awakening to this fact, to this truth.
Yeah.
Well, no, I feel like in the older timeline, we were still living in a society where there was something to be gained by moving in more exploitative manners. So we moved from a time of exploitation to now we're moving into a time of cooperation and collaboration. So that's how energy is now becoming the most important currency. Whereas before, money and exploitation and deal making and that kind of stuff still was what ruled in this 3D plane. And sure, the energy was always the more important currency in the 4 and the 5D and all of that, but it didn't make things move on Earth. It's going to make things move on Earth from here on out, or for the next, 5 to 8,000 years or something like that.
So and then it'll go back. What do you think caused that paradigm shift?
It was always prophesized to happen. This is just the way it is. Okay. And that I learned from astrology and tarot, but that's always been the way that it was going to go. There are in other, like if, let me slow down. So there's a thing called the Akashic Records.
Sure. Yeah. We've talked about it on the familiar.
Show. Okay, cool. So in the Akashic Records, there are charts and there are things that you can access and go into when you travel into there, and you can ask them, when was the last time that Earth was in this vibration or Earth was functioning at this realm or in this time space? And you would be going back to like Lemurian and Atlantean times. But it's more quantum and more collaborative. And then it always switches back. So I don't remember the exact words for it because they're in Latin and my Latin is shit because I haven't taken a Latin class since I was 18. But basically they're based on like iron, gold, silver, and that's a great way to break down which age you're in energetically. And it all kind of goes like clockwork, cyclically. This is just what's supposed to happen. There's no real reason for it. It's the way that energy has to move in this portion of the universe. So now, I don't know that other portions move this way.
Which age are we in?
We are leaving the Iron Age. I don't remember the Latin for it, but basically the age where, like I said, exploitation, greed, profit, Cartesian themes, where those would reign supreme. So this is the timeline where you see Harvey Weinstein's rule Hollywood and, politicians that I'm not going to say any specific names, but that say and do terrible things. And we all know it. And then they get to be in the most powerful positions in the world. That stuff's not going to fly in the new timeline anymore. People are going to recognize when someone's energy is dark, when it's disturbed, when it's going against the highest good, and when it's only serving self. And those people will no longer be promoted to those positions in power. Those positions will start to be reserved for people who are energetically aligned with the highest good for both themselves and the collective, with an emphasis on the collective and including Mother Earth in the collective.
I love that.
And so what would be the age we're moving into, like gold or?
No.
What?
I don't know that that's what it's called next. And I don't feel like going, I would have to go dig through my Pinterest to go find the chart that I'm seeing in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
But we're going into like a brief, like silver, and then we go into gold. So gold we're not there yet. We've got to still tear this system down and recover from what's going on, and then we get to move into golden. Gen Alpha really gets to live the golden age.
They're probably going to get the golden age.
Yes. Sure. Millennials, from what I've been told, millennials are here to begin to heal all of the generational trauma and do all of the legwork to get everyone emotionally prepared. So basically to raise Gen Alpha. Gen Z will destroy the system. Zeta, Z, and then Gen Alpha, A, Alpha gets to live in the new timeline.
Well, just to, I mean, you may react some type of way when you hear this, but it's that time.
It's that time, y'all.
What time is that?
It's that time.
So it's our new sound bite for when it's time to go to the allegedly question, which is a segment on our show that we like to move into. And I figured it was apropos that you'd be the first person to hear the death whistle as the sound bite, because coming out of that beautiful spiritual chat there, and then you hear the
tormented souls.
The tormented soul.
Death is near.
Did you not see how unfucking bothered it made?
I mean, you're I don't know, your pupils looked a little dilated. You were like, hold on. But like you had a good poker face because you bout that life. Allegedly question, man. We love this segment and we gotta get your take on
so
it.
I think this will get back to kind of what we were talking about in the beginning about changing jobs, changing schools, changing careers, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious now to hear what you think about this topic. I didn't anticipate that this was going to be the question, but it actually works out really well because
I haven't even read it, honestly.
All the things we talked about, but
that sounds about right.
Companies are doing layoffs, allegedly getting hard by the economic climate, right? So, especially in tech, as we were talking about a moment ago about tech stuff. So I can't help but notice all the posts online and hear these like horrible stories of people getting offers and then the process to like get their visas, and then all of a sudden like they get it yanked because of the layoffs or whatever. And there's just like countless posts of people, and it's really sad. And like, luckily, we have things like LinkedIn where people can like, you know, share their networks with people and stuff like that to try to recover from it. But I'm just curious, like, you know, what are your thoughts on all this turmoil in the job market?
Sorry, that went so many places, and I was waiting for the question, but my ADHD did kick in. I don't know if you saw it.
So basically, allegedly, like all these tech companies are just like getting hit hard, right? And they're laying all these people off en masse. But at the same time, I see them hiring too in some instances, right? And it's like, it's more so what bothers me is just like the stories these people, like especially a lot of these ones where it's like they're going to, you know, go through the visa process or whatever, and then they all of a sudden just get their whole thing shut down. And it's just like, I'm curious, you know, you've been through, it looks like quite a few of these moments in your life with the record deals and whatnot, and just changing schools and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the job market, and just kind of any advice maybe for people that are listening and how to persevere through it?
I would say that at the end of the day, rejection is divine protection. So if you find that you're going and you're pursuing something and it's not working out for you, and you keep hitting roadblock after roadblock, it's a great time to reassess, check in with your own spirit team, check in with the Most High, and check in, most importantly, with the highest version of yourself and what you see them doing and what you want to see them pursuing, and see if it's even aligned with what you're stressed about not getting in the first place. Like, and then if that's the case, then maybe stop jumping through all those hoops to fulfill a vision for someone else or for a version of yourself that isn't even aligned with your purpose. If it is in your purpose, if you check in with all of that and you feel like it's aligned and you feel like it's in your purpose, then the rejection is still protection, and divine timing is always right on time. So once again, I think leaning into your spirituality and not allowing these buzzwords and these triggers of economies and recessions and blah, 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 to allow you to spiral into a vibration where you're living in constant worry and fear. I always tell my followers, you are worthy from your first breath until your last. Don't take it up with me, take it up with God. So, and God can be whatever you want to call it. It's source, it's Allah, it's the Most High, it's the universe, it's divine, it's love. And all of those words and all of that energy is aligned with a vibration of love. And if you can find a way to pour love into yourselves, even when things look rough and even when doors are slamming in your face, ground yourselves. By grounding, I mean meditate, touch some grass, drink some water, get back into the now moment, and just keep showing up for yourself. And if you can do those things, like, it's going to work out. So don't get worried about it.
I think that's great advice, but I want to just push back a little bit, right? So how do you distinguish, right, whether or not you should continue to pursue something, right, versus, hey, this is not for me, right? It's pretty hard. You have those two, minds working, and you have that internal conflict, that internal conversation, I should say. So how do you distinguish which voice to listen to?
Well, you have to develop your discernment. And so discernment is gained over time and experience. So your discernment's not going to be laser sharp when you're 21, 22, 25. And it's definitely not going to be laser focused if a lot of your life is out of alignment. So I think the most important thing then is for you to, again, figure out who you really are and what you really want at your core. And you have to peel away the layers of you that you're doing and you're living and you're pursuing in order to impress your mom, your friend, your cousins. All of that has to get stripped away. And I find that the simplest way to strip those things away is to meditate. And I know that that sounds so woo-woo and so hard, but people make it 10,000 times harder than it needs to be. If you don't know how to meditate, or you're worried about trying to keep your brain empty and quiet the whole time, that's not even remotely the point. The point is to focus on your breath. If thoughts come in, let them come in. Acknowledge them. Tell them to keep moving and keep breathing and stay present. That way you can get your whole system back into alignment, and then you can hear the real voice of yourself. A lot of us have so many distractions. We wake up first thing in the morning and our phone's right in our face, and we're scrolling this and we're reading the update on that. And we're letting so many other energies dictate what our vibration is going to be, what our thoughts are going to be, what our purpose is going to be, and what's going to make us pissy today. Before we even took a second to check in with our highest self and our spirit team or our whatever, to be like, you know what? Is there anything I need to know about me right now? Was there anything revealed to me in my dreams last night? Did I go to bed up last night upset about something, and maybe I acted a certain way, and maybe I don't feel like acting like that no more? There are so many things that could be ascertained and that can sharpen your discernment if people would just take those first waking moments in the morning and focus on self and their mental health, whether that's meditation, yoga, breathing, reading, journaling, scripting, any of those things. But taking that time before you start ingesting so many other people's opinions and thoughts, that'll make it so that you know what really is for you and what isn't for you. But first, you got to know who you are.
Love that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's definitely something I've made a big emphasis on, putting in my life again is, reclaiming the attention, not just giving it to the devices all the time. And I think that's something it's just we all struggle with in this day and age of society. It's where your attention, what you give your attention to matters. And I think
where your thoughts go, your energy flows.
Yep.
Yeah, I just tweeted that like a couple weeks ago. That exact thing.
Nice, dude.
What?
You tweeted that?
The way she just said, yeah, where you, tweeted it, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, it's in the Library of Congress, bro. So it's there forever.
Oh my God, it is.
It is.
It's true.
So you can be funny about it, but this is basically the new writings on the wall, bro. It's the Sumerian tablets. Okay, of our generation.
Not.
We're gonna find an old computer in 3,000 years, power it on, and see some doofus who wrote like the most dumb thing ever.
Oh, there's some of that on my Twitter too, but it's usually profound in my opinion. Yeah. But in my opinion, dude, this is really cool. This is really cool. I feel like if we were ever going to have to do this with one person where we're side by side with another person, it was definitely you. It's so funny. I'm looking, there's a stack of books here. The Alchemist is right here. You brought that up.
Alignment.
We read. Alignment. Okay.
All my books are just like in the corner because I haven't bought a new bookshelf yet. And it's weird. Yeah.
I have
Power of Now and then,
right
and then The
Now.
Alchemist.
Yeah. I love both of those. Those are great. Like,
it was meant to be.
No, definitely. This was all meant to be. So listen, I know you plugged it once, but Brandee, if the people are looking for you, where can they find you?
On YouTube at Spiritual Bimbos Podcast, on the Instagrams at Spiritual Bimbos Podcast. On TikTok, I am at dvision1717. I also have a separate account for at Spiritual Bimbos. Any of the social medias, if you just type in hashtag Spiritual Bimbo, I should pop up. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all.
Love that.
Nice.
Rizzo, man, if the people are looking for you in that nice green vest, man, where can they find you?
Snazzy.
Best place to find me right now is on LinkedIn, Brandon Rizzo, and RizzoFeels.com if you want to catch our music, my music, any of my other projects. They're all the links are on RizzoFeels.com.
Yeah, you sent me some fire the other day, bro.
Oh yeah,
you have to do something about that. If you guys are looking for me, probably Twitter right now. Twitter, I'm having a lot of fun on Twitter. So Judah Clan. And that's probably it. I mean, I guess LinkedIn if you want to see me, but I'm on Twitter right now, guys. Talk to me there, Judah Clan. And you can follow us at Side X Side Pod on pretty much every platform until we're side by side next week.